Joshin Master here, just gonna drop some knowledge bombs today. Been pontificating on some subject matters dealing with some statistical information dealing with the female aspects. So recently, there has been a lot of hubbub about women's happiness and why a lot of them are unhappy now in the workplace because they are unfulfilled. They feel that their lives no longer have any precedence, and it's starting to take a toll on them. They wanted to have fair rights, and now they've been pushing for that for quite some time, and now they've been given that, and they don't like it. They don't like working 12, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they feel like their lives are just completely empty and decimated, and that the lives of feminism, the progressive left, has been pushing upon them. They're starting to realize that it's been a bunch of lies. And so since what's interesting is that a lot of between the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, even up into the 60s, women were actually at their happiest because they felt fulfilled with the family unit. You can look it up. But what's interesting to note is that now that they've been having to take on more of the major work roles in society now, they're completely miserable. So I'm going to tell you why. See, the truth is that women were never really oppressed in the regards that they had freedom to explore different things, even though, yes, they were taking care of home and hearth, which is the children in the household. They could have always explored other avenues. They could always explore different creative aspects and interests, but they just never really thought about it. They never thought outside of the box that they had the ability to explore and to do different things. But the truth is that white women are the most privileged class to ever exist in our society today. They have more freedoms and liberal aspects than they've ever had. The government supports them, gives them everything that they need. If there's no male in the house, which is kind of sucks, and it's divided the nuclear family unit, and it's having a massive impact on our civilization and our society, and it's starting to show. And this whole men are evil, women are evil, this shit's got to stop. Because we were created to be with one another. We were created to be companions with one another. And we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do in helping to reconstruct our society and our civilization with all this crazy nonsense that's going on right now. And that's the reason why people are unhappy, is because there's this us against them mentality. And the truth is that there are certain truths and certain untruths on both sides of the fence. And the fact is that men were created to be with women, and women were created to be with men. It's that simple. And we're promoting a lot of unhealthy and inappropriate mindsets for a lot of these young men and women and adolescents. They are starting to teach young men and women in a lot of in elementary school level about that it's okay to be gender neutral or gender fluid, and that's going to really mess them up, because there are two sexes, male and female. That's it. Whatever you decide to create as your gender preference, that is entirely up to you. You are free to do so. But to try to impose that on the vast majority of people, to try to conform the world to your viewpoints, is totalitarian and tyrannical. And it's not a good thing to spread. And so what you're trying to do is that whether you're gender, transgender, or gay, or whatever it may be, I don't care. You want to walk that way, that's fine. You want to lead your life the way you want to live, that's fine. But don't impress it upon me to try to conform to what I believe and what I feel, because that's what the freedom of speech is. Your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's fine. You want to walk your way, that's fine. I have no hatred towards anybody in the transgender or gay community. I don't agree with your way of life, but that doesn't mean that I hate you. And I think that gets misconstrued with a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ whatever polyamorous, gender fluid, I'm a parrot cracker, whatever you identify with as. Um, but you do not have the right to impose that upon other people. Okay? That doesn't mean that you should be hunted down and witch hunted and burned and massacred. No, I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that at all. But you're starting to take tyrannical viewpoints and you're starting to act like dictators. And you're starting to suppress, you're hurting your own people. You're hurting your own people with these crazy things. And you're starting to create a ripple effect in the regards to that you are starting to take young men and women and you're turning them into an amalgamated, transformed, twisted, um, and mentally unstable individuals. And it's becoming a massive epidemic with a lot of young men and women, and they're starting to teach it in schools, and they shouldn't be teaching that. When they reach a certain age, if you're 18 or 19 years old and you want to start walking down that path, that's entirely up to you. But you need to know the standard aspects of what biology is, male, female. You wouldn't be here without a mother and father. I don't care what science studies or political science studies say. Um, you weren't born of a man. You were born of a woman. And so the only way for people to pair is to have a male and female. It's kind of common sense. But anyways, back to the whole aspect of female oppression and why women are unhappy now is that they were never really oppressed. Um, during the 1900s, okay, got it, totally got it. Um, Women should have never been slapped around or mistreated. That kind of shit happens. Um, in the regards to what happened at that time is women didn't have a particular social role except for maintaining the household. I got that. Okay. That's changed. This is the 21st century. That shit does not exist anymore. Um, so women are the most privileged class in American society. And you're not oppressed. You got to get that out of your head. Okay, there's no one who's forcing you to do things that you don't want to do. You are creating that in your own mindset. You've been sold lies for a very, very long time, and you need to stop creating this continuous loop of mental instability in yourself and in other women. And stop trying to make men your enemy. We are not your enemy. I am not your enemy. I'm not going to put up with your bullshit, but I'm not your enemy. And if you want to be happy, pursue your goals and your dreams. Have a family. Utilize what's been given to you. You have a lot of things available to you. You can pursue whatever it is you choose to pursue. Your happiness is in your own hands. This whole aspect of woe is me, forsooth, Horatio, and etc. etc. You got to stop playing that card, ladies. And LGBTQ2 community, you're not victims. Stop creating a victimization mentality. Walk your path. Be happy with who you are and what you do. And stop trying to impose your viewpoints and political stratas on other people who really don't give two fucks. And stop trying to put it in the schools and messing up our kids. Because it's really, really starting to affect them. And they're confused. I have a lot of young men and women who come up to me and ask me, well, what does it mean to be a man? Well, I tell them. And I do tell them. I don't spread hate. I don't spread hate. I want to make that clear. Okay? I am a Christian. I believe in two sexes, man and woman. I also do have friends who are homosexual and who are transsexual, and I don't hate them. I don't agree with their way of life and what they do, but that doesn't mean that I hate them. And I think that a lot of people really need to get that across the board, is that even if you're conservative, which I am. I don't have an intolerance for people. I tolerate a lot of stuff. Most conservatives do. But to try to impose a way of life that will infiltrate a person's mind and turn them into a unstable and unfulfilled individual is what is being propagated now. No one has the right to impose their viewpoint onto another person. That is their decision to make. And a 2, 5, 6, 7, and 10-year-old do not have the mental capacity to be able to come to the facsimile in relation to of how they process information as to who they are identifiable wise. They need to know that they are male or female. And then if they choose after they're in their 18, after they're 21, in my opinion, after they've become completely, independent of their family members and their loved ones, whatever path they choose to walk is up to them. I prefer that they would walk a more moralistic path and a path of principles and, open mindset that's healthy, and won't impair them in any way, shape, or form. But that's entirely up to them to decide. But if you want to be fulfilled and you want to be happy, pursue your goals and dreams. Don't impose your views on people. Know the difference between right and wrong, not what you read in social media. Also understand what it means to achieve your goals and try to make the world a better place. Now, everything isn't always going to be kumbaya. You're not going to walk out of the world. Not everyone's going to agree with you. And you have to be strong enough to be able to understand that. And by the same token, don't take a tyrannical, empirical view of other people. Be able to utilize your intellect, and be able to decipher what's bullshit and what's not. But people are very easily influenced. So this is Joshin Master on his rant with female oppression and why women are unhappy. And if you agree to disagree, feel free to leave a comment down below. You may or may not like my response, as it is my right to be able to exercise my freedom of speech and say what I wish and how I feel. Anyways, rock on, and always remember, use wisdom, don't be stupid, and question all things. Joshin Master out.